hold up. I accidentally punched the camera, so I gotta reposition. Okay, we're good.
Punched, it's MX5, I get it, but like, okay. So.
It's actually our cinematographer's script.
Yeah.
He wrote it all.
We had a group of us 3 and we decided that we were gonna start looking at scripts, and then we just got that script and we loved it, and we got our crew together and we all fell in love with the script, honestly, is how it happened. Our cashier is never intended to be as funny as she ends up being.
We didn't even expect like the cashier to be a girl. So, but she came in and she auditioned for the part, and we immediately fell in love with Valerie.
Yeah, she made it really funny, so.
I'd say the biggest challenge in making this film would have to be balancing all of the production duties. Since I would have to go behind the camera and compose the shot, and then I would have to make sure the audio was good inside of like the car, for instance. Just finding that balance and finding a way to effectively do it while still getting a good performance out of the actors. And they were all great, and they were really helpful, but I'd say that was the toughest thing to balance.
So I was thinking about like what are things everyone experiences, and it's a birthday, because literally everyone was born at some point. And so I took that idea and I wanted to just see how to take that idea of birthdays and time and try to tell it in a way without really characters or dialogue or really even a story, just to show like the moment of birthdays throughout someone's life. And as the film progresses, it gets faster and faster, just kind of how like life goes, you know. But it was still like overall just a celebration of life and birthdays. So.
Hopefully my neighbors aren't watching. There was one time, came back from a weekend after, they party a lot, so there was a lot of cans that drifted off in my yard. And I got pretty petty, and I grabbed them all, and instead of, you know, doing the responsible thing and talking to them, I picked them all up and threw them, and I was like, what if they saw me? They're a lot bigger than me, so that wouldn't go well. So, and I'm like, let me write something about that confrontation, of what that would be like, just short, simple, and sweet. So.
Believe it or not, I had never seen The Good Place before writing Devil's Advocate, as many people have asked me that. This is actually an idea I've had in my head for a while. I was always fascinated with purgatory as a concept and the whole idea of traditional heaven, good, hell, bad morality. And I wanted to write a story that kind of talked about that kind of black and white idea of good and bad, but I wanted to still be humorous. I didn't want to make this story that was very serious. I kind of wanted to poke fun at those kind of definitions, if that makes sense.
It was the first Fringed meeting of the year, and we were split up into groups to like come up with ideas for short films, hopefully to submit to Frog Baby, and we came up with the bare bones of it, of just a story about overcoming fears, and no matter what the obstacle is, if you want something, you'll fight for it. Like the smallest pieces of encouragement can really make an impact for someone, like throughout the film, as has just little comments here and there, but they give her the courage to fight for what she wants.
I'm the president of a film group here on campus called Fringed, and we are a group that focuses on women and minorities in the film industry. Last year, we created several short documentaries on highlighting different kind of empowered female groups in the Muncie area. And so naturally, it just seemed really like a good idea to highlight the corn-fed Derby Dames. And it helped also that our former president was a member of the corn-fed Derby Dames. So we had a lot of access, and we kind of already knew some of the members and stuff.
So this project came from my summer internship, and when I got there, they had already kind of crafted these ideas for things they wanted to see over the course of the festival. And it's a Shakespeare festival. So each intern got their own video project, and this one was mine. So I wrote the script based on this idea of taking these Shakespeare characters and making this parody of Say Yes to the Dress with that. So I kind of ran with the whole Romeo Juliet. She doesn't really want to get married, so she's grumpy to be there. So there was like naturally going to be drama and comedic elements.
The biggest challenge, like any other production, is finding, getting the date set and figuring out all the logistics behind getting the shot done. But specifically, it was hard to find a good location. We really like that location because it has this really cool industrial vibe. A lot of really cool places that the way the light comes in and bounces off. It's like this old factory, and so the light bounces in really cool ways. It's just really run down, and it's just got this really cool grungy vibe to it. And we really felt that kind of fit the mood of the song, which is kind of coming from nothing and starting at the bottom, and that's where the fire starts, and then kind of rising up from that. So we thought that a place where at the bottom was a good location. So.
LJ and I had been acquainted for a while, just supporting each other's work and everything like that on social media and that sort of thing. I had been to a few of his shows, and he dropped the EP FHL, for which the title track FHL is the song we ended up making the video over. And just turning it on for the first time and sitting in my room listening to it, I immediately burst into tears. LJ tweeted, "I want to do something to benefit mental illness, to benefit the community, and I just don't know what to do." And I just had a couple of these pictures in my head, and so I texted him and I said, "Hey man, let's meet up, let's talk about it." And we met up, I pitched him my idea, I said, "I think we should do the video." And LJ liked the idea. We spent a couple months in pre-production just getting everything sorted out, and then we went for it. I made The Gravedigger because I wanted to see about telling a horror film in less than 5 minutes with no words. And that's pretty much where it started. I was sitting in psychology class one day, not really listening. So instead of doing my classwork, as a studious student might, I wrote a film. I wrote The Gravedigger in one class period, just on some note paper. Pretty much wrote out the whole outline for it, and from there, the hardest thing afterwards was going to be finding an old man who was willing to let me bury him.
It was my final semester at Ball State, and I knew that before I went away, I wanted to make the best film I could, just kind of like swing for the fences my last time around. So I just really focused on finding the best people I could, surrounding myself with them, and just making the best thing I've made so far, and Dotted Line turned out to be that.
I work in Cardinal Filmworks, and we have a writing pool. And so Jason Franchville usually works as the director of photography on a lot of things I do. And we usually do drama, and he was like, I kind of want to do a comedy. So he found this script that was in like this pool, and I read it, and I said, oh, this is super absurd. I love it. And nobody thought it was going to get picked up, and I was like, I want it. And Jason was like, I'm in if you are. So it was a super fun script, and it was super crazy, and it's really relevant to people today. So yeah.
So the documentary was created for the Ball State Daily News, which is the school newspaper. And what we do is we do some in-depth stories every year. And Ryan Shank, the director of the film, pitched the idea of interviewing Jonathan Becker. And I I had some previous interest in theater-related things, and so I kind of raised a hand and said, sure, let's take this on. And we slowly gathered a team of great videographers and people involved, and reached out and decided to tackle this.
I was on winter break, and I told myself, man, it's been a really hard semester. I think I'll take a break. And 2 days after I said that, I said, wow, I'm really bored. I'm going to make a film. Whenever I was younger, I used to hunt a little bit, but never really got super into it. You know, I tried it out, but it wasn't really my thing. Later on, whenever I was writing this film, I wanted to create a character that I somewhat related to, but at the same time, it was still somewhat out of my comfort zone. So I wanted to push myself and try to utilize a character with traits that I don't necessarily identify with.
So I made this film, The Melody, because I was kind of sick of doing fictional films in my TCOM classes. I've always done the films just because I wanted to get the credit for them. So I decided to kind of do a non-fictional film about a fraternity brother of mine who was a violinist. So I brought Chris Peets over to my house, and I was like, hey, can you tell me a little bit about your story as a violinist? From that moment, there was a story that was kind of similar to Whiplash, if you've seen the movie. And I thought, oh, this has like a super great narrative, and I love that I can share a story about somebody that people don't know about. And Chris Peets happened to be the guy.